On the eve of nuclear war, alive from a bunker somewhere in Eastern Europe, this is the last show!
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Where are you from? Where? Denmark? You guys are the sex offender of Europe. No, I mean geographically. Just look at the map. Norway and Sweden are penises, and Denmark is the hand that's grabbing them. So, Kevin Spacey's hand. Colombia? Oh, nice. You guys are just like us. Poor people with white privilege. It's just that ours isn't called cocaine. Okay, now I see. You're American. Please stop aiming at me, man. This is a nuclear bunker, not a high school. We good? Okay, we good. So yeah, this is a bunker because this, in the wider sense, is Eastern Europe. And right now, nuclear war is in the air. Which is kinda sad, but also kinda exciting. Yes, hundreds of millions might die, but a few percent of those are gonna be the people who say that Putin was provoked by the expansion of NATO. So, evens it out nicely, doesn't it? Well, wherever you're from, we thought it might be nice to show you what Eastern Europe actually is before it gets blown up. Most of the world thinks we're a bunch of a post-Soviet white trash that's desperately trying to ride their 15 minutes of fame, and honestly, they are kinda right. But just like an onion or Steve Bannon, there are layers to us. So let's start with a sophisticated explanation of the war in Ukraine in under 40 seconds. A year ago, Russia shocked the world by invading Ukraine, but some were not surprised, as they were in possession of secret information that was highly predictive of the attack, known as the entire Russian history. But, as the old Russian saying goes, it's not a rape if it's your wife, and it's not imperialism if it's your neighbor. However, last year Ukrainians have decided they've had enough, fought back and totally kicked the invading Russian ass. The problem is that Russia has a massive inferiority complex combined with 6,000 nuclear warheads, so they'll definitely blow up the entire region rather than admitting defeat. Oh no, that's just the clock. Alright, but just so we don't depart without leaving behind a catalog of various perks and problems of Eastern Europe, I'm gonna bring in a team of my correspondents. We're gonna have our senior woke correspondent lay out why being eviscerated in a mushroom cloud is the least of our problems. We're gonna have our senior wife-beating correspondent explain local traditions and customs. We're gonna have our real estate expert show us why our region is so lovely, none of the locals wants to acknowledge it exists. And since it really might cease to exist soon, we're joined right now by our bunker correspondent Ondřej, who's been living in bunkers his whole life. Ondřej? Ondřej, where are you? I can't see you.
That's my camouflage, Dominik. Can't you see my camouflage? Dominik was kidding. I did not spend my life in a bunker. I grew up in an orphanage, like everyone here. It was a nice childhood, full of sex. But I must admit, bunkers are cozy. And look at the killer design. Wow! The marvelous combinations of concrete with some more concrete. What a view. Here you can observe the world from the Eastern European perspective. I won't lie to you. In our latitude, we just love bunkers. In the Czech Republic, where I come from, we built more than 10,000 bunkers just before the start of World War II. Some of them mighty huge, but most of them small and adorable. We surrounded ourselves with lead lines of these small boutique bunkers. No, I'm just joking. They were really designed to kill all Nazis silly enough to invade us. But the bunkers were so cute that we decided we won't risk damaging them in a war. And therefore we gloriously surrendered to the Nazi army without a fight. and we cunningly chose to outsource the service of winning our wars to a third party. Unfortunately, it happened to be the Communist Party. But hey, now the Nazis are gone, the Communists are gone, but guess who stayed? Our beautiful, unscratched bunkers, the concrete family jewels of our countryside. And we know how to enjoy them. For example, we turn boutique pillboxes into boutique hotels. This is actually no joke. This is a real website and a prime example of the Czech hospitality industry. Plan a honeymoon? Some lovemaking in the sunset? Say no more. The true love nest is a machine gun nest. Yeah, we love the romantic spirit of the outdoors. We really do enjoy nature from a bunker. Pillboxes make for the ideal summer cabins. See, the pillbox is a poor man's castle. Live the life of a discount king. Bunkers are the Eastern European state of mind. That's why we love watching Teletubbies. Because Teletubbies are just like us. They have fat bellies, seem to be drunk all the time, they prefer gestures over talking, and they live in these super cool camouflaged underground bomb shelters. We all have a heart-shaped bunker in our chest. We hide our emotions there, in case someone was looking for them. And that's why we broadcast from a bunker. It's our natural habitat, and it's also the traditional place where we, here in Eastern and Central Europe, receive our news.
Der Angriff Steiner ist nicht erfolgt.
Do you want to be like this gentleman with the mustache? Do you want to be the first to know your career is doomed and your meaningless life is about to end? Subscribe to our program and you'll get even more than that. You may even get a discount for your own bunker. Please welcome to the show our random female real estate agent, Eva. Not sure why she's dressed like that in a bunker. Women.
Thanks, bunker boy. What can I say? If I've learned anything from my real estate sisters at Selling Sunset, it's that women must always be prepared. That, and there is no such thing as too much plastic surgery. Look, you never know where you're gonna meet your next billionaire husband. He could be here, hiding in this very bunker. Which is why I store my business cards right here, in my secret little bunker, just in case. So yeah, call me, okay? Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is no other way to break it to you. It's all about bunkers. They have become the hottest commodity on the local real estate market. It's the only commodity, to be honest. Remember the good old days when ordinary people, not that I know any, but yeah, I've heard of them. And back then, they could afford an actual house with, windows and heat and neighbors. Oh. But all is not lost. This bargain beauty is still on the market. Better book quickly. This one won't last. Yeah, and in real estate, that's a good thing, if you know what I mean. What you gotta know when selecting the perfect bunker is this. It's all about location, location, location. And I'll be honest with you, most of Eastern Europe isn't exactly Beverly Hills. It's closer to what some real estate tycoons refer to as subprime markets, or in American English, shithole countries. So, if you smell a good investment opportunity but are not familiar with this part of the world, here's some basics you gotta know. Eastern Europe spans as far north as Estonia, home of Skype, and as far south as Albania, home of your drug dealer. From west to east, the region covers everything from the Czech Republic, a country which is famous for porn, all the way to Russia, a country famous for clumsy oligarchs who like to fall out of windows. The problem with Eastern Europe is that nobody wants to be Eastern European. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania certainly don't. All of the countries of former Yugoslavia don't. Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary are deeply offended when called Eastern Europe. Romania, Bulgaria, and Moldova also scramble to come up with a different name. Even Ukraine doesn't really want to be Eastern European, but at this point, they don't really care what you call them. The only country who doesn't protest being Eastern European is Belarus. And that's because protests aren't allowed. To be fair, Russia wouldn't mind calling itself Eastern Europe. Anything Europe, really, because most of it's in Asia, which is where it spiritually belongs. The funny thing is, Russia is already the biggest country in the world, yet somehow it believes it's not big enough. It's kind of like how Kim Kardashian feels about her butt. Russia's butt already takes up 11% of the total world's landmass. But that's not enough for them. So a year ago, Russia decided it desperately needed to get butt implants. This is where Ukraine comes in. Well, in the end, they don't call it Donbass for nothing, do they? Oh. Hello? Hi, Vladimir, здравствуй. Where have you been hiding, bad boy? I see. No, we don't take Bitcoin. What's that? Oh, I see. Sanctions. Let me talk to my boss. Okay. До свидания. Sorry. Well, gotta get back to business, folks. So that's enough real estate news for today. But if you're interested in more on ass grabbing, stay tuned for what Tomáš, our human and female rights correspondent, has to mansplain for himself.
Thank you, Eva, for reminding us again why we are hiding underground, awaiting the inevitable end of civilization. Yes, Russia might be the butt of all jokes, but there are other weapons of ass destruction which the West possess. And we fear them more than feminists or deodorant. What am I talking about? Tolerance and human rights. You see, we in Eastern Europe are very keen on traditional values. Just look at the traditional Slavic family. This is not photoshopped, this is what we look like, at least in the morning. After the typical Eastern European brunch, consisting of organic ingredients and traditional recipes, it looks a bit more like this. Yes, those secret ingredients might include vodka, crystal meth, crumbs of nuclear waste, and singing traditional songs. You say scary, we say family values. For example, a lot of people here, but mostly in Poland, believe a woman is a fantastic, God-blessed piece of finely crafted furniture, and as such should not make decisions about itself. You would not like your closet to have an abortion, would you? Or even worse, to have your closet come out of the closet. Of course, in big cities, people are mostly tolerant, not just towards LGBT, but also towards other minorities, for example, illegal immigrants. Or mostly legal drunk Englishmen having wild bachelor parties thanks to our cheap booze. Which they love to do even post-Brexit. But outside of our capitals, a lot of locals sound like Eastern European version of Alex Jones. What's not to like?
They turned the friggin' frogs gay!
Yes, we fought for our freedom and we are not giving it away to people who don't have sex the way we like it. And we know what sex we like. If you have watched any porn just for a few seconds in your life, it was probably made right here in Eastern Europe by the good people in the Czech Republic or Hungary. Sexual freedom, bad and corrupting. Porn and sex trafficking, traditional and basically a Christian value. Also, we do not want to build unisex toilets for transgender people, but it's not what you think. Till recently, our toilets, even in castles and palaces, were very much unisex and looked like this. It is called kadjebutka, simply just a shitting shelter. And while we were shitting there, we were dreaming about the West and your colorful selection of two types of toilets, for ladies and for gentlemen. And now that we have them, you're gonna have to pry them from our cold dead hands. We will not go back to those places again. Yes, instead of cis sex symbols of boy or girl, there was a symbol of universal love, a heart. But it was fucking scary to shit there during the night, okay? So let's just say we already made our sacrifice on the altar of sexual identity and progressivism. And it may please you that it was very much climate neutral and ecological. And environment is something Libor, our token Gen Z correspondent, likes to go on about. Libor, are you there? What are you anxious about this week, Snowflake?
First of all, I am deeply offended and can't believe you haven't gotten cancelled yet. And secondly, I am actually anxious about snowflakes. While all of you boomers are so worried about some imaginary nuclear explosion, we still haven't talked about the biggest problem for all. We all know the world is going to end, but wars have diverted us from how it's going to happen. Climate change and global warming. Eastern Europeans don't really think about it nowadays, which is understandable. You can't worry about the temperature rising by 1.5 degrees in a century when it can rise by 100 million degrees in about 10 minutes. Of course, us being in a freezing bunker, we don't really have to care much, because every additional degree really helps. But let's talk about me. I am a white European member of Gen Z who's devastated by the state of our environment. The official spokesperson of that group might actually be one of the very few people in the world that Eastern Europeans hate more than Putin.
How dare you!
But for Slavic people, tackling climate issues is about as tricky as avoiding communism. We don't want refugees from Africa to move here because of global warming, but at the same time, our idea of an ecologically responsible car is a Lada painted green. And as the cost of energy is rapidly going up, people are also heating their homes with even worse garbage than before. And the perspective on that has also shifted. This used to be the house of an asshole who doesn't care about the environment. Now the same house belongs to a hero who cares about his country by boycotting Russian gas. This very bunker is heated only by our own body heat, which is now the only way a group of people can keep warm, without a polar bear getting a heart attack. But the main problem with Eastern Europe dealing with climate change is simple. We're so durable, we don't really have to care. Do you know how seriously we've taken environmental disasters in the past? Let me show you. Do you know what that is? Seems like a joyous occasion. Maybe a national holiday. Perhaps a 4th of July type of deal. It was actually a communist march. 5 days after the explosion of Chernobyl. And that was in a neighboring country. In California, a coyote gets a fever and half the state freaks out about the climate. In Eastern Europe, a nuclear reactor blows up on Saturday. And on Thursday, we take our kids to get fresh air. And yeah, although radioactivity and nuclear dust might have had an effect, see the last couple of Hungarian elections. But with all those disasters going on, Eastern Europeans are the people you want to hang out with. Yeah, we might disagree on some minor issues, like is democracy worth the trouble? But say what you will about us, we are not worried about dying out. We're so depressed, we welcome it. So, if you don't want to be stressed about the upcoming Armageddon, keep an eye on Eastern Europe. Because if you have ever been to, let's say, Belarus, you won't even know the difference when it actually happens.
Enjoy this show like it's your last. Cause it very well fucking might be. But just in case it's not, God and Putin giving, subscribe to our channel to receive more apocalyptic updates from Eastern Europe and from around the world.